Most photography business plans are 30 pages of fluff that never get used. You spend weeks on mission statements, financial projections, and then you shove it in a drawer. Here's the truth. You're wasting your time. And if you stick with me through this episode, you're going to realize you've been spending your energy in the wrong place and that building a profitable photography business is so much easier than you're making it. Listen, you don't need any of that traditional business plan fluff to be a profitable photographer. I'm going to show you the only three numbers you need to build a profitable photography business, and they fit on one page. This is the exact business plan I've used for 27 years, and it's the same one my six-figure plus students use. Let's dive in. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name is Sarah Petty. I've been running a multi-million-dollar photography business for 27 years, and I'm the founder of the Photography Business Institute, where I help portrait photographers build profitable businesses without sacrificing family time. Now, listen, I have an MBA, so I learned about traditional business plans, documents with executive summaries, market analyses, and a 5-year financial projection. But you know what? None of that helped me when I actually started my photography business. Because here's the problem. Traditional business plans, they're designed for businesses seeking investors or bank loans for the most part. They're not as practical for small service-based businesses like photographers, where you're the service, you're creating the product, and you need to know one thing, basically. How many sessions do I need to photograph to make the money I want? Bam. That's it. That's the only question that matters when you're starting out. And to answer that, you only need three numbers, not 30 pages. Let's talk about what actually goes on your one-page business plan. There are these three numbers. I'm going to go through them step by step. Okay, number one is your income goal. How much do you want to make this year from your photography? Not what sounds reasonable because you're new or what you think you're allowed to make. What do you actually want? And write down that number. For this example, let's say $100,000 because you can do that part-time, my friend. Number two, your average sale or average order value. And here's what you're going to want to understand. This is the most critical number in your entire business, and no one tells you this. This is the one formula that every successful photographer knows by heart. And here's how you calculate it. You take all the money you've made, you divide it by how many sessions you had, and there's your average order. Here's an example. Let's say you made $3,000 this month from 6 sessions. 3,000 divided by 6 is $500 per client. That's your average order. Now imagine you only had 3 sessions and you made that $3,000. That's $3,000 divided by 3,000 bucks per client. That's better, isn't it? The same amount of money for half as much work. Now, listen, if you're just starting out and you don't have these numbers yet, you need to decide what that's going to be based on your pricing and your sales plan. So let's say you want to set your average order at $2,000. Here's why this number is so critical. You can argue with me all day long, and I'm going to prove you wrong because it is the same amount of work, whether the client invests $200 or $2,000 or $10,000 or $20,000. You're showing up, you're photographing, you're editing, but one pays your bills and gives you freedom and an amazing life, and the other keeps you broke and exhausted. Listen, your average order value controls everything in your business. It determines how many clients you need. It determines how much time you spend working. It determines whether you can afford that new lens or whether you're struggling to pay your own bills. That's why getting this number right is the difference between a hobby and a real business. Number three, sessions needed. Now, here's where the simple math comes in. Take your income goal, $100,000, divide it by your average order, let's say $2,000. That equals 50 sessions. So to make $100,000, you need 50 sessions at 2K. That's your business plan, my friend. You need to photograph 50 clients this year who each invest an average of $2,000 with you. And of course, you need a sales plan to get every client to that $2,000. And it's not a pushy one for sure. But here's where this gets interesting because those 50 sessions don't have to be evenly distributed. You can look at your life and when you want to work. Maybe your kids are home in July and August, so you don't really want a lot of clients during those months. So now you're doing 50 sessions over 10 months. Still reasonable. That's only 5 sessions a month. Or maybe you live somewhere where winters are brutal and you can't go outdoors in January through March. So you're doing 50 sessions over 9 months. That's still about 6 sessions a month. Totally doable. See how this works? You're designing your business around your life, not the other way around. By the way, if you're finding this helpful, make sure you sign up for my weekly newsletter where I share little bite-sized strategies that are going to help your business grow. Now you might be thinking, what about marketing plans? What about competitor analysis? Here's the thing. Those do matter, of course. But the question is, now that you know these 3 numbers, your decisions moving forward in every other area are going to be very different. Because think about it, your decisions from a marketing perspective are very different if you're running a high volume churn and burn business who needs a ton of clients to give them $100 each versus a photographer who just needs a few clients to invest a few $1,000s with you. Completely different marketing. So once you know your numbers, you have 2 critical questions to answer. Question 1 is, how do I get my average sale to be where it needs to be? The answer to that one is asking yourself, how do I create the value that someone will invest in printed portraits? So wall portraits, albums, prints that add up to be that amount. It's not about selling a $1,000 package or digital files for $1,000. It's about creating an experience where you hold their hand and serve them so well that they naturally invest that amount because you've made it so easy for them. Question number 2 is, how do I attract and book the right clients that want to invest in wall portraits? So what you want to answer is, what kind of marketing do I do to attract those clients? Well, you're not discounting, you're not doing mini sessions, you're educating them. You're creating value. You're having conversations in the right places where people with disposable income are already hanging out and spending money. Once you build that relationship, you should have a client for life. And that's how you build a healthy business, my friend. Not by perfecting your technical skills and hoping people will just see your work and hire you. Doesn't work that way. You have to learn the skills to get the number of clients, to invest the average order value with you, to make the gross sales that you want to make. When you know you need a certain number of sessions at a certain average, you can reverse engineer everything else. How many leads do you need to have at a close rate of X to book 50 sessions? You know you need to get good at your sales process to hit that $2,000 average order. It's not really that hard. You know you need to build a marketing system that brings in consistent inquiries. That also is not really that hard once you get clear on what you're trying to do. So this one-page plan gives you clarity, and clarity is what gets you to take action. So listen, once you have those 3 numbers, here's how you actually use this business plan instead of shoving it in a drawer. First, check in on it monthly. Are you on track to hit your session numbers? If not, what needs to change? What's your biggest constraint? Do you need more leads coming in? Do you need to turn more inquiries into bookings? Second, use that data to make decisions and track everything fiercely. If someone wants you to photograph their family portrait for $500, look at your business plan and realize that's 25% of what your average order needs to be. So that's an easy decision. That's not the right client for your business. I'd rather you say no and have free time in your schedule to get the skills that you need to get the right clients who will invest that higher average. Third, you track the numbers and you adjust it as you grow. Maybe you build your business plan in January based on an average order of $2,000, but after a few months, you realize your average order is more like $2,500. Now you only need 40 sessions to get your goal instead of 50. Your business plan just gave you 10 sessions back to spend with your family. Friend, this needs to be a living one-page document, and it's not something you write once and forget about, something you reference constantly to make sure you're building the business you actually want. Your business plan should fit on one page because you need to actually use it. Those 3 little numbers Your income goal, made up by your average order value and the number of sessions needed, they should be so ingrained in your brain that you can recite them in your sleep. So if you want help figuring out these 3 numbers or how to hit those numbers, book your free strategy session with my team, and we will show you exactly how to set these numbers and how to reach your income goals faster. I put a link to book a call in the description below.